Okay, so now our program is able to get all of the links from all of the pages in my target website. It's also able to extract all of the forms, and it's able to submit these forms and send requests to these links and capture the responses and read them. So we pretty much have everything except the implementation of the last two steps, which is send in a request to discover a vulnerability and then analyze the response to check if this vulnerability exists. So I'm going to build a method called runScanner. So we're going to do def run scanner, which will actually run the scanner for me. So first, let me expand the constructor. And the main goal of this method is to iterate over each link in my target links list. And then for each one of these links, extract the forms, test the link, and if you discover anything, then display a message. So let me show you how to do that. It's actually very simple. And keep in mind, I still didn't teach you how to discover vulnerabilities, and I still don't expect you to know how to do that. We will talk about that later on. I'm just trying to show you how generic this program is. So I'm going to say for each link in my self.targetlinks, I want to first of all extract all the forms in this link. So I'm going to say forms are equal to self.extract forms. And this method takes a link as an input. So we're basically using this method right here, which will return a list of all the forms that exist in the URL that we pass it. We're passing it one link at a time, and the list of forms will be stored in my forms variable in here. Then for each form in this form list, so in forms, I want to test this form for vulnerabilities. So first of all, I'm going to print a message saying testing form in, and we'll put the link. And then in here, I will start calling methods to discover the vulnerabilities. Now, so far we haven't implemented any methods to discover vulnerabilities, but once we do, all we have to do is literally just call the method in here. Then, once we're done with this loop, this means we're done with testing the forms in the current link in the target links. The next thing that we want to do is to test the link itself, see if this link sends any GET requests. Now we know GET requests are sent in this form, so you'll actually see an equal in the link itself, and then we usually put our payload after the equal. So this is where you put the value. So I'm gonna check if equal is in my link. Then again, I'm gonna print testing followed by the link that we're testing, just to tell the user that we are testing this specific link. And then again in here, we can call all the methods that we will implement later on to discover vulnerabilities in links. And that's it for my runScanner method. So it's a very, very simple method. All it's going to do is it's going to iterate over all the targets that we collect in our crawler. For each link, first of all, it's going to extract all the forms using our extract forms method. Then it's going to iterate over all of these forms. For each time, we're going to start calling methods to discover vulnerabilities in forms in here. Then, once done with testing the forms, we're going to test if the current link contains an equal sign. If it does, then this means that this link sends data to the web application. So in here, again, we will call methods to test vulnerabilities in GET requests in the URL. So right now I'm actually done with this program, and you can see how generic this program is. All we have to do in the future now, as you go and learn about web application vulnerabilities, all you'll have to do is implement a method here to discover the vulnerability and call it in here if it discovers the vulnerability in a form, or in here if it discovers the vulnerability in a link. So, if you have taken my website hacking course already, which talks about advanced attacks against websites, or even if you've taken my general ethical hacking course, which talks about basic website vulnerabilities, you probably already have a very good idea on how to implement methods to discover vulnerabilities using the functions that I showed in here. And that's my main point. I wanted to show you how to build a program that is generic and easy to build up on to discover a number of vulnerabilities, and not just build one program for each vulnerability and having to build a new one from scratch every time you need to discover or learn about a new vulnerability. Now, in the next lectures, first of all, I'm going to teach you about XSS vulnerabilities, and then I'm going to show you how to extend this code in order to discover XSS vulnerabilities.